And so there in the causal Prakruti is there in there, but in discharge it is the same causal Prakruti. There is an intention maker, and the intention maker makes you intentions, and there, but not being aware that it belongs to the Prakruti, one becomes Tanmayakar, or the body mind forms, and therefore this suffers the effects. If you really keep it separate and know who you are, then the effects will not be there for you. This is the question and answer session of the morning of 16th of September has just begun. And in Aptavani 4, Dada has talked about bhavako bhav karave che, krodhak, mohak, etc. These are the anger makers, the deceit makers, etc. You see that, and you see, so there is a causal Prakruti and then there is the effect Prakruti. And whatever is filled in the causal Prakruti, that is the one which will open up in effect. And now, and then it is called as a karma effect fruit. But when we really look at it, on page 69, if you keep it separate through Gnan, that is not happening to me, but I cannot keep in that awareness. It may not remain at the time when the mistake is happening, but a bit late. But when, but if you practice it, that when you get up in the morning, Deepak just got up. You see, Deepak has had her breakfast. Deepak is doing that. Uwe is doing that right now. So if you practice this, the practice the separation before it happens in routine daily life, then when something happens major, then you will be able to remain separate. Yeah. Priti, we talk about the Samayik of the breaks that we put. In that Samayik, I did a lot of pratikramans about putting unnecessary breaks on the Prakruti. I could do as much adjustments when other people accuse me, however, and then later on I just say, Dada, help me. But in dealing with other Prakrutis, it's so difficult to really deal with them correctly. When you ask for the energies from the soul, that means you are putting the handle on the soul, that is all. Don't mess too much with the Prakruti. While you're eating, make sure that may give me the energy not to get too greedy in food. Is in essence all the 9 columns, you see. Grant me the energy not to hurt anyone, Sigo, not to hurt anyone, a relative religion's level, not to hurt anyone through words. So why don't you just, that means your column number 9 is really the handle of the Atma only, of the soul only. You're trying to move towards the soul only, that is all. But I just showed you the way that you do the Bhavana Sudhare Bhava Bhav, the essence of all religions, concentrate on the 9 columns only, because you cannot remain. Then start speaking the 9 columns. Oh Dada Bhagwan, whichever, supposing it is a matter of sexuality, then recite column number 6. If it is a matter of speech, then recite the column number 5, etc. See? But now I am behind Kashais only. One major fault went away. Forget about getting rid of the mistakes. Just importance is to remain separate. You don't. What mistake? I adjust according to time and circumstance rather than discipline. Just see what Manju Ben is doing. That is called Sahaj. If you do not become Tanmayakar in the file, that is called Sahajta or naturalness. Sometimes when I do prayers in the night, do the prayers you need to. All the prayers are putting the handle on the soul only, turning the handle of the soul. Like in the old days, they used to have trucks that you could have to go in the front and turn the handle so the engine will start, you see. So the other says I used to do 40 years. And the other says for 40 years I used to do it. But if a hurtful speech comes out, then Dada would, then he would divide it through Pratikraman. In other words, Dada was employing the 9 columns himself, you see, and he is giving this particular thing, the 9 columns to us only. Everything except the soul is Prakruti. Eating, sleeping, everything, talking, thinking, and then all kashais, all the fights plus the Prakriti is doing it. There is a peripheral body complex that is eating, drinking, sleeping, talking, and then there is inside the Kashai complex also. The both of them make up the Prakriti. Next one is Puja Gohil. More being announced, more questioners being announced. Sashikant. Vaishali Dobaria. Okay. Why, if Samayik is so important, why is it that I cannot understand the importance of Samayik? Because what is the veil that I do not understand? Why is it that now you understand, that Samayik is important, therefore you will do Samayik so that you will be able to dissolve the Prakriti that is negative within you. The hurtful Prakriti can be dissolved through Samayik, that is all. Now, if you cannot do it for 48 minutes, at least do for 10 minutes, right? Close your eyes for 10 minutes and see all the faults that have happened, where you became Tanmayakar, where you became absorbed, where you missed the 5 agnas. Are you able to read something? Yes, then read something. Read something of Dada. Are you hurting anyone? And then are you doing Pratikrama? Why don't you move forward in what is happening rather than getting stuck in what is not happening? Because the common tendency is to say, oh, this is not happening, this is not happening, this is not happening. When an examination paper comes in front of you, don't you tackle the questions that you know, and you answer them fully, and then you go to the questions that you don't know very well, right? Are you doing pratikramans? Yes, I'm doing pratikraman. On what basis the mistakes happen, that is called samayik, that is all. Is it the knot of greed? Is it a knot of pride? Is it a knot of sex? This is a knot of willfulness? That is what is called samayik. Prakruti will dissolve in 2 ways, either taking a beating or through gnan. If there is the slightest suffering, it is your moha. If there is the slightest suffering, then know that there is moha. Moha means you just have become, Alicia, you just have become nada. You see, that's called moha. We are interested in just emptying. Therefore, come back to who you are and then see what is happening. That is all. Do not become the owner of the Prakriti. Do not suffer with the Prakriti. Do not become Tanmayakar, absorbed with the Prakriti, body, mind, form with the Prakriti. With every beating, then I should know that I'm in the Prakriti, so I should get out of it, is the question. I know that I'm taking a beating, but I cannot get out of it, she says. Whatever the Prakriti does, I know only thing that you need to do is if Prakriti hurts others, then make her do Pratikraman. That is all. Otherwise, you don't need to really do anything much with the Prakrikraman. Just be aware. And always, if then just remain separate from the Prakriti, that you are continuing to hurt the other person. I'm not with you. This should not be so. Talk to the Prakriti. If you want to stop the ceiling fan, do you try to get a step ladder and try to poke a pole in it, or do you just go to the switch and turn it off? The switch is the 5 agnas, you see. Turn off the switch and then the Prakriti will automatically stop. Go through the agna, it is a file. It's a file. I want to settle the file with equanimity. That is all. Next one, Jai Sachidanand Deepak Bhai. To forgive the Prakriti, we'll keep it pending because that is in the later chapters of. We have 3 more sessions, right? Okay, I'm going to Mumbai today, so let's take it today then. We have to just settle. So he wanted to ask about forgiving the Prakruti. I had heard that you can forgive your own Prakruti. You cannot protect the Prakruti, but you cannot protect the Prakruti. But if you protect the Prakruti, then you will be in Rag, and if you scold it, then there is Dvesh. So we do not want to enter into the Rag Dvesh with Prakruti, and therefore either in opposition or in protection of the Prakriti. When you forgive the Prakriti, that means you are forgiving it. By being the pure soul, you say, "Oh Shashikant, oh Uve, oh Nada, oh Unisi, I forgive you." You see? The Prakriti is not at all a fault. Do you blame the Prakriti for vomiting? It's a patient. Why do you really consider it a fault? It's something, just, come on, get better, get better. It's, you don't find faults with the Prakriti. You just forgive the Prakriti by understanding it and remaining separate from it, you see. First remain separate from it and then forgive it. Forgive means to forgive means you become vitrag with forgive. You see, by forgiving means you settle the prakriti with equanimity. That is the beginning. You see, you are not stuck by any kind of punishment with the prakriti. You see, why did you become angry like this? This is so wrong. Why did you enter into this kind of sexuality? This is wrong. You see, now this kind of stuff you need to forgive the prakriti. It has happened. It is over. If you are the North Seer, then nothing is going to bother you. I am separate and Sashikant. That is the awareness of separation. But the moment you say that it is happening to me, then you will carry the load of it all, and you will be depressed with it. And but when you say that it has happened to Prakriti, then you are free. But you continue to complain. Why is it happening to me? How can I not improve? How can I not do Samayik, etc.? How can I not do Samayik? How am I not doing Samayik? Why am I not doing Samayik? Why am I not moving the prescribed way? There is no prescription on the path of liberation. There is no prescription on the path of liberation. The only prescription is the five agnas, by the way. If you don't know, just let go. That's all. All this talk about pragna and putting brakes on prakriti and not putting brakes on prakriti and all of those things. You see, I instead the prakriti is like this and prakriti is like that. Why don't you just why don't you remain separate from the prakriti? you know you're going home to Bombay. You're going home because you want to settle the file with equanimity. I just what Why don't you hit me in such a way of that prakriti will become completely soft? You are why should I beat you with a you are a man with understanding. I don't need to tell you anything. No, this is not the path of Akram Vignan. Dada's way is five agnas only, you see. Now he was just talking about forgiving Prakriti, and now he's talking about beat me with a stick so that my Prakriti will straighten up. Keep Sashikant separate, that is all. You see, again, real relative, five agna. Keep the mind, switch, and body of Sashikant separate, and that is the only thing. Again, five agnas in a very subtle way. Who am I and who is the doer? Is this not simultaneous and parallel? It is automatic. But what is your question? I understand who am I, but I cannot get into the exact understanding of who is the doer. And that is where the confusion arises, and that is lack of purusharth there. There is weakness there. Therefore, read Aptavani 11 on, you will know the science of doership. Whatever happens, any work that happens is on the basis of circumstances. And once you understand this, then you will know understand Prakriti also. How is, if I'm pure soul, but I'm pure soul, but why did she behave like this with me? That means you have totally skipped the agna of vyavasthit. You see, is the you should know that this is file 1, this is file I'm pure, this is, you should see the pure soul, you should see the vyavasthit, you should see file 1, you should see file 2. Vyavasthit means our own causes effects are coming to us only. We had created cause in a previous life and the effect is called vyavasthit, that is all. You are the knower of the vyavasthit, you are not the sufferer of vyavasthit. Vardibhai, Samandar City, then Samandar City, Sukshma Shas, Sanjay Rampariya, Thana, Jai Sachidanand. In these 4 days of Samayik on the Prakruti, it feels as if it is the Prakruti is happening, the Prakruti, and whatever happens is Prakruti. And before I used to feel that I'm somebody and I'm somebody special. And the end result, it feels as if that ego is the culprit and it is the one that gives hurt to others. Whatever question you ask, ultimately it comes that it is the fault of the ego only. As long as the ego exists, then there is no progress at all. What is it that continues? It is the discharging ego. It's the ego is joined with the kashayas of willfulness, inflexibility, insistence to see the faults of others, you see, and then the intellect takes over and says he's not doing it, they are not doing it, etc. Then and one does not take the purushartha. Why is he not? Why? Where is the solution? Why are you finding faults with the other one? You see, to hurt others is is the role of the intellect, whereas the role of the prajna is the role of the right intellect is to find out what is correct in here. you know if you understand, if you see what is the reason why the task is not improving, then if you step back you will be able to see that, but at that time I cannot see it. After it happens there is so much pressure that I cannot see it. But is no, not it won't happen immediately, but after it happens, then some time later you can take some time and then sit and say, where apply the gnan again, apply such a knowledge. What kind of what kind of gnan should I apply in this puzzle, you see? And you can ask yourself the question, you see, we have to interact with the worldly file by being in gnan. Being in gnan means no kashais at all. You got the keys in your pocket, but you are not using the keys to open up the lock, you see. You got the keys of the five agnas in your pocket. You got the keys of the evidences of lawlessness, you see. You got the keys of the knowledge of the Prakruti as everything. So why are you not applying those keys? And then you get, not taking any time. It, it is not so easy to see the other person as a non-doer or flawless. He says, if somebody, then you have to say, if somebody says this kind of words to me, will I like it? If somebody openly rebukes me or scolds me, will I like it? You see, so the way it's very important not to hurt the ego or accuse anyone to do anything. So find out a way where you can proceed without hurting anyone. You see, you have to converse with file number one, become the embodiment of love, talk to file number one. Do not hurt. If you talk to to the people who are working under you with love and with care and concern, then they will do much better work than if you instill fear in them and if you scold them and if you rebuke them. So this is so you need to try all of these things. Shuddha will be right back. It's just going to take about 5 minutes and be right back in 5 minutes. Okay, I will.
નિશ્ચય કરેલો છે એટલે મોડી વેલી આવે છે. તમે તપાસ કરો, તમને દોષ થતાની સાથે ખબર પડે છે કે નથી પડતી? એટલે એમાં જુદા કરવાની જાગૃતિ. આ જુદા પડેલા છે માટે જ ખબર પડે કે સૂક્ષ્મની બોલતી દોષથી જુદા પડે છે એમને જુદા કરવાની જાગૃતિ. આમ કે ને આમ નારિયેલ પકડ્યા કરે, કાચરી પકડ્યા કરે, એ બધું કે ને આગળ આ બધી કલ્પિત વાતોમાં ના લાવશો. આપણે ઓળખો બીજું કોને કહેવા. અને આમાં કેવું છે કે મીઠા પરિણામમાં જુદાપણું ફરક નથી આવતો, કડવા પરિણામમાં જુદાપણું ફરક આવે નથી. આપણે કડવાને આપણે એ પણ વસ્તુ કરવા માંગીએ છીએ કે પેલા દોષ પરિણામને જેમ જેમ એ દોષ ખલાસ થતા જશે એ રાત પરિણામ ખલાસ કરવાનું જાગૃતિ આવવાની જ છે. હમણાં કડવા નીકળી જાય, બીજાને દુઃખ થતા છે, બીજાને કોઈ કહેવાય કડવા પાકમાં ફરક જાગૃતિ આવે છે ને આપણો નિશ્ચય પાછો મજબૂત કરો. આ વખતે રહી જાગૃતિ રહી મને શક્તિ આપે. હેન્ડલ મારો લોક કઈ વસ્તુનો હોય છે? કઈ વસ્તુ લોક હોય? પૈસા હોય કે પછી આપણે એમાં બીજા માટે વાપરી તો ઠીક છે, પણ હાથ માટે આપણે હવે કંઈ જવું હોય તો આપણે રિક્ષો પણ હોય કે બસ પણ હોય તો આપણે એમ લાગે સસ્તું હોય કે ઓછી ટિકિટ હોય કે એમાં જઈએ તો એનું ડિમાર્કેશન નથી કરવાનું પડતું. એ પોતાના માટે ક્યાં જોખમદાર છે અને બીજા માટે તો આપણે રોડની ગાંઠ તોડવા માટે આપણે સત્તરમાં કરતા હોય કામ ઘરની ગાંઠ તોડવા માટે તો ફાઇલો હોય ત્યાં ઓપરેશન તો ત્યારે એમ થાય કે આપે રોડની ગાંઠ તોડવા માટે ત્યાં વપરાય છે. એટલે એ ત્યારે ઠીક છે, ખુશી એક્સેપ્શન. પણ હવે હાથમાં જ્યારે હોય ત્યારે આમાં કાલે સામાયિક કરતો ત્યારે અહીંયા ખુશ થઈ ગયો હવે આને લોકતા કહેવાય કે કોને કહેવાય? આનું જોખમ શું છે? આપણે કસાઈ છે કે ન હોય પણ શું કામ ન હોય લોકની વાત શું કહેવાય? કંઈ પણ બચે એમાં આપણને ફાયદો છે એવું માને છે, પણ આત્માને ફાયદો થતો છે કે પછી સંસારને ફાયદો છે? આત્માનું જ્યાં હોય ને એ આપણે મોક્ષ માટે કામ લે છે. અને આ રિલેટિવ છે એ બધું સમજે તો પછી નિકાલ કરવાનો. આત્મા માટે કોઈ પૈસા બચવાથી આત્માનો ઉદ્ધાર થવાનો જ્ઞાનમાં રહેશે કઈ ઉદ્ધાર થશે? એટલે આ લોભ એટલે શું? વિનાશી વસ્તુઓને સાચવી રાખવાની વૃત્તિ. મને બચે તો સારું, ફાયદો થાય, મને લાભ મળે. લાભ ફાયદો એ બધું બુદ્ધિ બતાવે છે. આ ખરાબ છે.
This one is good and this one is bad. What is so the intellect shows the good and the bad, and as long as there is intellect, the ego is there, you see. So then as long as the ego is there, then you will not be allowed to experience the pure and the clear distinct experience of the soul, which is called the Spashta Vedan. And so as the anger, pride, deceit, greed go away and your desire for to entry into that, so this is how, you see, so because you're preoccupied with, oh, that is being wasted, therefore the knot of greed is wetting, greed is in operation. So you're not in Shuddhupyog, in the pure applied awareness of the soul, you see. So our Purusharth therefore is into, this is the Prakruti of Sanjay, you see, this is the Prakruti is always is economical, you see, he is trying to save this, he's worried about all the wastage, etc. But but in the matters of this kind of greed, the protection, then if he hurt somebody, then make him do pratikraman. Why don't you see, are you hurting anyone in a very subtle way through your greed, through your greed kashai, through your pride kashai, mind kashai, through your sex kashai, or through your deceit kashai, etc. You see. And so supposing you are too much in a hurry to go to the satsang, why don't you take a cab? Because if you keep on waiting for a bus or a ride, you might lose the satsang. So these are all You have to use this kind of adjustments with the Prakruti. Change use the right kind of adjustments with the Prakruti, so that you do not want to waste. Right now, time is not important. The satsang is more important, to come over in time. You see. So if you come in time, the satsang will be in perfection. Whatever is happening, that is all in file 1. I just need to see file 1 only. You need to, and it should not hurt anyone. Just whatever be in awareness, this belongs to file 1 only, you see. Then the Janki Bhatt, Jai Sachidanand, and Larji Bhai Parmar Dangatra. I have already received my answer, but there are 3 types of Prakriti: Sattvic, Tamasic, and Rajasic Prakriti. The 3 characters. No, why don't you forget about the Prakriti? Sattvic means every Sattva means that which is Tamasic means anger, pride, deceit, greed is all Tamasic Prakriti. Whatever the Prakriti is, we just need to get free from this Prakriti. Whatever the Prakriti, we just need to be done with it. That is all. No, Tamasi, or is it Rajasic or Tamasic? What difference does it matter what kind of Prakriti a person has? What is I wanted to know what is a Tamasi Prakriti. It is not important to know all of this. You know, there have been so. Why don't you just say it's file 1, whatever the Prakriti is, I want to settle the pride with equanimity, the file with equanimity, whether it's anger, pride, deceit, and greed, settle with equanimity. And in the process, para Prakriti, apara Prakriti, and the more you read about it, the deeper you're going to get lost into it, you see, because it's all available in the scriptures. 5 books of Gita have got 5 different explanations, just as 5 different books of Bibles also will have 5 different explanations. So instead, just why don't we stick to what Dadashri has taught us, that it's a file, settle it with equanimity and be done with it. That is all. Next one, Pravina Vadodara. Jai Sachidanand. Janki. I have a question about protection, Upranu. We generally are improving, but some, but by protecting our mistakes, the mistakes increase. But the ego does not accept when somebody else points out my mistakes. You see, the ego catches the mistake, that the criticism of the other, and therefore I am constantly in that only. All day I am constantly revolving on what has been told me. You have to talk to her. He said, talk to her, converse with her, understand, take her into front of the mirror. Are you going to take her in front or in front of a mirror? You see, can you do anything without? Can you dress your hair without a mirror? In the same way, if people show you your mistakes, they are your mirrors. Be grateful to them, because you yourself cannot see it. Therefore, there is no reason to protect your mistake. To protect your mistakes means, by protecting your mistakes, you are separating from the soul of the other person. Therefore, you are being divisive with the other person. Therefore, be grateful to the other person. Why are you telling me these things? No, what you're telling me is very correct. Let me investigate. You're right. But the way they tell you, it doesn't really matter. You do not really, you know, do not talk about, do not, find out how to see, what is their point of view. Do not be hurt by the intensity of the ego in which those people have hurt you, but rather than that, find out the point of view of what that other person is trying to convey, even though he may be angry or whatever. What are they really trying to convey? You see you know You see, let go of the first 3 times. The other person may, overspeak, but because you see, but you really need to kind of filter it through your own sieve and decide the point of view of the other person, so you can adjust. You know, you see, again you can go. What were you trying to tell me? I'm telling you, improve this much. Oh, now I understand. Now I understand. Then you see, after she has vomited, the other person is vomited with words, then when she's a little quiet, can you please tell me what you were trying to tell me, and then she will tell you, oh, this is the problem with you, and then you will accept it, you see. Next one. If you hear, if you listen to the intellect, then you will not allow the prajna to help you, the force of liberation to help you. But you see, you should say, no, I do not want to listen to the intellect which only shows of the world. I want to proceed further with the knowledge of Dada only. That is all. Next one. Then Kantipai Chauhan. Next one, Kantipa. Jai Sachidan Pujashri. Laljidi Parmar. Aptavani 13. In the Upodgad, Apram Vignan is a 14 years course. If you are weak, then it might take more years. But if he's very smart, then it may go finish within few years only, lesser years. 14 years, 365 days, 24 hours, 60 minutes. You want, the goal is to be continuously aware and awakened. You see? You see? You see? If you are not attending the college and you have skipped college, then again you say, no, but if you have not been attending satsang all these years, then how do you expect this? You see, you need to be in satsang, in the purusharth of satsang only, the progress itself. Every day, recheck where you have missed the five agnas, where somebody has been hurt, that is all. And then kind of look at the knots, you see, within Samayik. By 11 years, you will automatically, there will be a change, you see. Do you understand? Every day you be into the daily purusharth of where I have missed the five agnas. That is a critical purusharth. In yesterday's Samayik, in the evening Samayik, I felt that there is a problem with economy and also greed with reference to money. Greed, karkasar means economy means, you see, if you're earning 1,000, then you at least you spend what is necessary. 200, 300 you spend, you see. But the greedy one will not even spend 50 out of the 1,000, you see. If you're earning more, then let it go. The more you earn, be a little bit more lax in your spending. When we now, you say, in my days we used to buy shoes for slippers for 15 rupees, and now you're spending, now you are spending 200 and 300 rupees. But now the salaries are 30,000 rupees. In those days, there were salaries were 300 rupees. You see. And then also, do not be economical in the kitchen only. Be very free in the kitchen. Use all kinds of materials for food. You see. But you see, otherwise, if the daughter-in-law has used a little bit extra butter or extra flour, your chit is there only, and you're constantly speaking negatively about the daughter-in-law. Do you want to go to moksha, or do you want to economize in the kitchen? Yes, bhangaka. And also, then just kind of play the handle on the pure soul, and be in the equanimity of the pure soul only. But if you want to, yeah, if you if you want to be an accountant, then be an accountant of the soul, because you missed one agna at one time, then you recognize that it is thousands are being lost, you see. You become a true businessman, you see. Become a true businessman with reference to moksha only. That, by missing one upyog, one agna, you're losing 30,000, 40,000 at a time, you see. That be the true accountant of the soul, rather than an accountant of these nitty-gritty things in the kitchen, etc. Next one. The science says that Prakruti, the qualities of the Prakrutis are already built ingrained. Well, all self efforts, there may be a little bit of a change in the Prakriti, and it is on the basis of only merit karma that it happens. And only through grace one can become a saint from a robber. Is this true? But and if he meets the Gnani, then he can become a god. And if everybody who meets him and remains sincere to the Agna of Dada, they, and whatever all the selfish, you know, you see, he will become a Lord Ram by following the five Agnas only. It is, the negative traits are of the Prakriti. It is not of us. It remains separate from the Prakriti. Why should you repair somebody else's Prakriti? Why don't you repair your own self and separate from the Prakriti and become the pure soul only? We can be in the awareness of the soul only. Excuse me. The tail of a dog is curved no matter what you do. Even if you bury it under the ground, when you unbury it, it will be crooked only. The Prakriti cannot be changed. Now, should I not have this? All of this, you see, everybody is here. You see, all of them are here. They have all changed. Now they have all become Mahatmas today, right? They have become very good, right? So they are not the sons and daughters of theirs. They say, I'm not Putra. They are not the sons and daughters of our biological fathers. They are here having given up their homes and parents, and they are coming here with the pure soul's intentions only. This Vignan is such that one can become absolutely free. Next one. Another thing I want to say is, I do not want to come into any kind of suffering. Yes, that I should not enter into any kind of personal suffering and remain separate from. Find out the solution. What is the solution? Where is the knowledge of understanding? And once you get the right understanding, the suffering will go away completely. You see, so find out where the suffering happens, and then apply the knowledge against that suffering that is happening to the non-self complex within the ego, which is the owner of the Prakruti. You are not the owner of the Prakruti. The ego is the owner of the Prakruti, and you have been separated from it. File 1 is very straight, but if you need to know whether, but you see, because of ignorance and because of its lack of understanding that it lacks, therefore it misbehaves. But if you give it the right understanding, then it will become easy to deal with. Bhuva Asha, next one. PTPL, page 161. With the alaukik bhav results, will we get it in this life or will we get it in the next life? The Darshas will get it here as well as in the next life too. Right now you get the light of the self. When you get the light of the knowledge, there is internal samadhi, you get the bliss, you see. And then by applying the five agnas, whatever seeds you cause, whatever cause of five agnas you charge, you will have a very beautiful next life. Which one do you want, this one or both? You want both? Okay, then enjoy, relax, enjoy. And after receiving Gnan, all his storms quieten down when he receives Gnan. Yeah, see, that is called, after Gnan Vidhi, a man cools off, you see. That's good. It is happening. They're very good. Chandan Kumar Singh. I already have got the answer. Very time we are doing all the qualities of the self, the Siddha Stuti, I, I had such a very nice experience that this is the Prakruti, and the Prakruti is separated, and I want the exact qualities of self. Good. Nimisha Vyas, ATPL, Vijay Raghavan, it is 9 years after Gnanvidhi, but in the last 1 or 2 years, everything has turned around. There is a lot of worse things have happened. There are, I have some mental disturbance as well as home problems, but I cannot express it now. And where it has been spoiled, just turn around and come back. And if you have gone on the wrong road, then come back on the right road only. We do pratikraman for all the mistakes that have happened and then come back on the right track only. She says, I had gone on the wrong path in the last 1 or 2 years after the Granvidhi 9 years ago. And whenever the mistakes happen, you have to be very, very strong in your initiative. Non-vegetarian food, sexual affairs, you see, and alcohol and drugs, they should not be there, you see. Don't you think this is wrong? If it is wrong, then you do not want to go in that direction. That is all. But it takes a lot of time. So no. If it takes long time, then it will take a long time. But do you want to spend more lifetimes? This lifetime, why don't you start the Purusharth in this life only? It is on the basis of Purusharth that you are going to progress further. Remain very strong in your Purusharth of who you are. That is all. Nimisha Vyas, Jai Sachidanand. Aptavani 3, page 56. The karma is causing problems, and the Prakruti is the karma causes problems. Prakruti, it does not cause problems. She is reading the Aptavani 13 now. If you do not interfere the Prakruti, it will automatically. Prakruti by nature is healing in nature. It heals. And you disturb the Prakriti because of the unfolding karma. The ego is there to disturb it. Is Prakriti an ego? Yeah. When the ego interferes, into karma, they are all part. Is Prakriti, ego, they are all part of the discharging Prakriti only. But supporting your cutting vegetables, and the knife cuts your finger, there is blood in it, and this is Prakriti Sanyog is there, therefore, but then all the healing happens within the Prakriti itself. It's the nature of the Prakriti to heal. The unfolding karma made you cut the finger with a knife. However, the nature heals it. The Prakriti heals it. Supposing you want to move a very heavy sofa alone, then so you slip your disc in the process, and then ego has done unnecessarily. You did not understand that you couldn't do it, and therefore you made excessive use, and therefore 4 or 5 days you kind of let the subtle Prakriti heal. So you, through your ego, tried to move something that you couldn't. You see. Because of the disturbances of the ego and the unfolding karma, the influences. It is only when the karma unfolds that it does. It is some mistake happens. You see, some pain happens, some wound happens, but then it comes back. So ego and the unfolding karma is the same, right? Yeah, in one sense, yes. Discharge ego is actually part of the unfolding karma only. Next one, Vijay Raghavan. One says it's not my Prakruti, but the beliefs are subtly mine, are they not? But until this is cleared and what is it that I continue to believe that is my Prakruti? There is a residual. The one you believe that it is my Prakriti, it is also part of Prakriti only, but five agnas is the only thing that is separate from all of this, you see. So you really need to be in the five agnas only. You see, whatever the discharge, growth, man, maya, lobe, anger, pride, deceit, greed is happening, that is actually happening in the Prakriti only. This is all part of the discharge only, but to believe that it is happening to me is the problem, you see. Is it, then why are you getting into it? Why are you getting tanmayakar in it? Why are you becoming willing that it is happening to you? Separate, separate, separate. And then it will fall off. At the most, if somebody is getting hurt, then make him do pratikraman a little bit. That's about it. Is there an opinion that you should try to continue to change it? You need to just kind of, all opinions need to be wiped off, that I need to improve the Prakriti, all I need to. The only opinion or the only thing that you want really is five agnas, double A, double B, and also the evidences of lawlessness. That is all. When it rises, then it will. When it arises, then through knowledge, melt it through knowledge. There is the Prakriti says it should be good, it should not be bad. Then be aware of it rather than trying to go there and try to change it or manipulate it or improve it. Do not try to have a speech that may make is pleasant to him. Instead, why don't you just say the nine column with reference to speech, that I do not want to speak speech that is hurtful. That is all. You see, the prescriptions are already there in the Charan Vidhi already. The fifth column of speech is good. You see that I do not want to speak hurtful speech at all. Let me speak softly and kindly in reply. You see, so, be there with reference to the fifth column rather than to say, oh, I want to improve the quality of my speech and the technique of my speech and the way I speak. So, you see, when the moment you remain in prajna, all of this junk will go away. But if you are anywhere else, the junk will continue to bother you. That is the essence of the science. That is all. Okay. Let us do the Samayik now. It is it's 2:19 a.m. here in the United States, you see. you know, Let us talk about conversing with file one. Whatever questions arise in life, all the fights that happens, all the problems that arise, all the accusations happen, all where you are touched and you are bothered. You see, the solution is to talk with file one. The knower with the gnan is speaking with the ego who is in ignorance. That is all. You see, in worldly interactions there are puzzles arise, and then this file one will say, why is it happening to me? Then he says, it will happen to me, what are you going to do? You see, then so then you can say, okay, so you talk to him and say, make sure that you do not hurt anyone. So we can talk in two ways. In big events, when there is lot of suffering, you cannot talk, and then start with a small experiment from morning till evening. In every day, Prakriti is, oh, are you awake now? What are you going to do now? You see, so let us remain in Gnan today, okay? Let us remain in the five Agna. So you are in Pragna and you're talking to the ego, you see? And you see, because the ego is going in the wrong directions by listening to the intellect, and by listening to the Pragna or listening to you talking will go in the right direction, you see? So, and then so let us, oh, if the breakfast is not ready, it's not ready, so then why don't you do something else? Why don't you do three mantra for, oh, the breakfast is not ready, so then speak the three mantra for 5 times, you see? So he will speak the three mantra for 5 times. By that time the breakfast is ready. So the ego was interfering somewhere, and instead by employing by talking, you are turning that person towards the self. You see, and therefore he is not. So instead of somebody else telling you, why don't you start talking to yourself only? You see, instead of somebody else correcting you, why don't you from within start talking to file one? And they, it is nothing but a complex of wrong belief that has arisen out of ignorance. That is the Prakruti. And you see, the more you become free from kashais, the more the awakened awareness will be there for you to help to be there. You see, so both are simultaneously. So start this small conversation internally with file number one. This is a very special. Dada sometimes used to make you sit in front of the mirror and you can talk to the person, Oh, so now Shuddha is there in front of the mirror and you say, hello, how are you? What are you doing? Oh, you're doing this much. Yeah, this is good. But what about this other stuff that you're wasting time in? And so now he has to now agree, yes, you're right. And then he said, once he agrees, then of course, then he said, but what can I do? I'm doing this much. Am I not? No, but what about that other time? You see, but so then you say you are a Mahatma or Dadashri, you are helping others, therefore you should be extra careful in all of these things, right? And so when you talk to yourself, talk to Uwe in front of the mirror, talk to Nada in front of the mirror, talk to Eunice in front of the mirror, then Eunice is sitting in front of you and you are the knower seer, you are the pure one, you are the one with the prajna, and you are conversing with Eunice, who is going and listening to the intellect and the ego and going away from you, you see. So you engage her, you engage her and you make her respond to you, you see. And so as long as you're engaging her, you're giving satsang to her, you are also, and so also you're always there for her when she cannot. If she's saying negative of somebody, then you can say, okay, Eunice, see the positive of the other person. Nada, see the positive of the other person, you see the positive. There's no correction, but see the positive. That is also the Prakruti. The frozen stuff in the Prakriti will continue to melt and thaw, but however, underlying opinions and negativity can be changed, you see. And to change the beliefs of the ego, there is the essence of part of the correction mode in this whole process. You cannot change the conduct, you are only changing the internal the wrong knowledge of the ego that is going in the wrong direction. You see, now if you are going in the wrong direction, come in this direction with knowledge only, and therefore you will interfere less in the worldly interactions and hurt others less in other. So today we are going to do this in every day activities from morning till evening. First learn to, this is yours, this is you, you're the hungry one, you're the one who has to go to the toilet, you're the one who is sleepy, you're the one. So what shall we do about it? You're making such a fuss at breakfast table, you see, you want to have, why don't you just accept whatever snack is in front of you? Why, if you do not like it, eat less, but why do not make a fuss, etc. And do not say anything negative about the food that has been cooked. And the same thing, but do not be negative with reference to your conversation with the other people. Why are you talking like this? And when at work also you say, okay, now are you going to, you're going to finish this much at work today, then what are you going to do after it is done? Are you going to now sit and see the pure souls of the other people? Are you going to, but are you going to enter into some kind of backbiting of somebody else, or go into gossip corner when you go to have a coffee with somebody? So you see, now talk to the file one, so that the file one will be there as your friend, and you will be there as a friend to file one, and therefore file one will not be engaged in something nonsensical or something that doesn't is not productive in life, you see. And this way you really become separate from the ego of file one, and this way you are remaining as the pure soul, you are in the prajna, and you're talking to the ego of Eduardo, you're talking to the ego. Now Sirish Bhai was asking, do I use the alarm, or do I not the alarm? Then why don't you, or you could say, why don't you just talk to Sirish inside that, do you want to keep the alarm or you don't want to keep the alarm, you see. So you can talk to him and say, if you wake up by yourself, it's good, but if you don't wake up by yourself, then at least fine. At least you don't have to attend any colleges, right? You don't have to attend any serious timetables, right? So if you wake up half an hour later, there's nothing wrong. So you're talking to file one, with conversing with file one. In all matters you can talk with file one. The advantage of talking with to file one, you will become small, you will enter into naturalness, and you will come out of the whole of the Prakruti, and it will allow you to see what happens. Because you see, and when you're talking, uh, You see, when you're talking to file one, when you when there are all kinds of knots in the ego of file one, so the ego will then respond by saying, this person talked to me like this, why should I not talk back, you see. So so this whole conversation with file one is, you are becoming file one with a pure soul, and you're talking to file one, and you are slowly the ego whom you're talking to, she will or he will open up the or we will also open up the hidden mistakes that are there, because the ego will open up. In other, she says, even at this age, I talk to Ambalal Bhai. I'll say, Jai Sachidanand, oh, you're making good satsang, you're doing great satsang, huh, Ambalal Bhai, today you're doing good satsang, huh? And he says, when I see him in the mirror, then I'd see the namaskar to the Dada Bhagwan inside him. So Dada Bhagwan asks, oh Dada Bhagwan, within you, I'm doing namaskars to you. When Dada Shri sees his own mirror image, he says, oh Dada Bhagwan, within you, I do namaskars to you. Oh Dada Bhagwan, within you, Shuddha, I do namaskars to you. If I carry him in front of a mirror, you see. And so you can do two level talks. You can talk to the Paramatma within that, or also you can talk to the Prakruti within that, you see, within that. So there are both two levels, two approaches to the Samayik of the mirror, but also the conversation is very beautiful to talking to file one. In whatever situations happen in life, keep it separate and then talk to it, you see. All the avasthas, the situations are of the Prakruti, but to believe that is mild, that is the role of the ego. But you need to talk to him and says, oh, it is yours, but what are you going to do now? You see, then he will also know how to settle files with equanimity better. Correction, he will also know how to really deal with interactions in the worldly life. Also, let us do the Vidi, O Dada Bhagwan, the absolute self within me. O Lord Sri Mandir Swami Prabhu, the perfect Lord at Mahavidya Kshetra, with the exact applied awareness of the pure soul, Shuddha Upyog, in the entire activity of file one all day long, in different situations and circumstances, with the exact to keep the exact awareness of separation, with file one, with the ego, and let there be conversations, and let there be the experiment of conversation with file one, and grant me the energy to do such a Samayik, my Lord. Through file one has the knowledge of the intellect, and it does the worldly interactions through the intellect. Any against that, there is the knowledge of the five agnas and the understanding through double A, double B. Let me set that all, and let me be aware in the awareness of separation, and let me then converse with file number one. Grant me to do such a Samayik, my Lord. I surrender the mind, speech and body, all illusions associated with my name, charge karma, bhav karma, charge karma, dravya karma, subtle discharge karma, yellow glasses, no karma, gross discharge karma. O Dada Bhagwan, the absolute self manifests within me. You are manifest within me, and you are the absolute Lord God within me, and it is at your divine feet, Sucharano, that I am surrendering them all. That is the Samarpan, my Lord. Dhatma chu, Shuddhatma 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 chu. Eu sou alma pura, 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 eu sou alma pura. Ich bin reine Seele, 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 ich bin reine Seele. Shuddhatma, 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 Shuddhatma. Jai Sachidanand, Jai Sachidanand, Jai Sachidanand. You know, speak with file one as a friend, you see, with love, not by scolding it or, with a positive, superior attitude. Talk as if you talk to a friend only, you see, and try it very beautifully, do it very beautifully. Jai Sachidanand.